let's explore Yuletide Stress and 6 other spiritual poems. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Today's first poem, Yuletide Stress. Christmas morning, a fabulously intelligent neighbor lamented. It is only morning, yet already I and all my house guests have felt all the feels. What is it about Christmas that can make even the most sophisticated and self-possessed amongst us as emotionally raw as a patron of the Maugh's Isley Cantina who has the death sentence on 12 systems? Could it be the commercialistic push of our already materialistic culture? What if it was something else? What if it was something more? What if it was something older? Christianity is approximately 2,000 years old, while human civilization is about 12,000 years old, and our species is almost 200,000 years old. But our species' antecedents began experiencing winter 1.8 million years ago. Prehistoric winter was no mere inconvenience. It was a life and death struggle that many lost. And only the ones with the greatest gravitas, the greatest sense of community, and the greatest instincts to hoard non-perishable staples lived long enough to pass on these genetic traits. It is no mistake that in the 4th century of our Common Era, the Roman Emperor Constantine instituted the celebration of Christmas in close proximity to the winter solstice, a time when our species is already raw and vulnerable and burdened with the instinctual drives to gather and to hoard and to commune and to fear. In anxious anticipation of the 3 months of perilous winter until the vernal equinox ushers in life-giving spring. It could also come as little surprise that Christianity and all the religions that preceded it celebrate spring's arrival as well. Religious leaders of yore, it would seem, were quick to capitalize upon the human anxiety and relief, accomplishing the respective arrival and departure of winter. So may the anxiety of Christmas and that of Thanksgiving which precedes it not take us by surprise. May these dynamic emotions of greed and anxiety and clinginess serve not as an indictment of our character, but as the object of our passive mindfulness and the emotional release that accompanies the physical relaxation hidden within each out-breath. Today's second poem, Toll. A price must be paid, it would seem, for every human interaction, be it positive or be it negative. On days such as Christmas, many people feel raw and vulnerable, and if one were to send light-hearted holiday memes to every soul whose phone number has been stored upon one's smartphone, 1 hour could become 2 hours, and even 3 hours could elapse. And energy could wane, posture could fold in upon itself, adrenals could fatigue, heart could race, and hands could tremor. for every interaction, no matter how good-hearted, exacts a toll. Sometimes reminiscent of Luke Skywalker's apparent last stand upon Crate, and then disappearance upon Ahch-To. But energy is like money, it is made to be used, and kindness, no matter its cost, is its own reward. Today's third poem, Benchmark. To those who are no strangers to internet porn, I would remind you to view it as mere entertainment and not as a benchmark by which to evaluate your life. Today's fourth poem, Sweeping. My Tibetan teachers told the tale of a monk who could not memorize scripture. Dismissed as a fool, he was relegated to sweeping. You may have heard of sitting meditation or even walking meditation, but this so-called simple fellow practiced sweeping meditation. Taking his time, he would sweep and breathe and step, noticing in harmony with each inhalation, relaxing in harmony with each exhalation, and thus letting go. Sweeping and breathing and noticing and releasing, his contemplative attainments surpassed his so-called academic superiors. Today's fifth poem, Torah. Politicians will tell you that if a Jew disagrees with the policies of Israel's current government, then he is an anti-Semite. In response, I would observe that those politicians do not know Jews very well. For when Rome occupied Israel, they often lamented that if you put two Jews at a table, you wind up with three opinions. For it seems to be the birthright of every aging Jew to be politically opinionated. And as such, I would remind my fellow Jews in Israel's parliament that Torah teaches kindness to the alien. That would include the Palestinians. Perhaps I should also remind my fellow Americans of this passage. My fellow Americans who are appalled at the presence of refugees created by our own economic and political policies. Today's sixth poem, Brought. If we look hard enough, we could find someone to say anything. But just because we find another to tell us what we want to hear does not mean that is what we need to hear. Come, let us surf the Tao's wave of centered spontaneity and see what teachers are brought to us. Today's seventh and final poem, Integrity. I know all about Buddhism, she insisted. My Swami told me about it. This seems rather like learning about Catholicism by speaking to a rabbi, or learning about Judaism by speaking to an imam. When we seek prejudiced and ignorant information sources to confirm our cognitive biases, it speaks rather poorly of our intellectual integrity. Let us conclude with a simple call to action. This podcast will never have any advertisements, so support us monthly on PayPal and like us on your podcast service to help others find us, just as you found us as well. If meditation has felt impossible or boring or just out of reach, you are welcome to register at buddhajoy.org for the next series of live online meditation class webinars that meet once a week.